Good morning, good afternoon, whoever is watching us from different parts of the country. Abali mutulabira mu nsi z'ebweru, abali mutulabira wano e Uganda, mbalamusizza mbanyiriza nnyo ku mukutu guno ogwa Extreme Media UG. Nga bwe mukimanyi bulungi nti omukulembeze acting president owa kibiina kya PFF ku makya ag'olwaleero asibiddwa, akwatiddwa n'abasajja abambadde ebyambalo ebya UPDF. Kati oluvannyuma lw'okuba nti nno akwatiddwa, abakulembera ekibiina ky'abannamateeka mu ggwanga lyonna ki Uganda Law Society basazeewo okuba nti nno bayita olukungaana lw'abannamawulire wano ku kitebe kyabwe. Bwe twogerera essaawa zino bagenda kuba badressinga eggwanga, kiki kye bazzaako, kiki ekigenda okuba nti nno kikolebwa olw'okuba nti nno omusajja Erias Lukwago okusobola oteekako n'eri omunnamateeka is a politician but is advocate. Bagenda tubuulira kiki bo nga bo aba Uganda Law Society kye bazzaako nga bo ab'ekibiina kya Uganda Law Society. So wetwogerera ebifaananyi bingi bifulumiddwa era nga bwolaba thumbnail eyo ekifaananyi ekiriko nga bamusibye mu maaso kifulumidde ku mukutu ogwa MK gaba MK CDF w'eggwanga lino nga bamusibye akandooya nga bamusibye talaba nga yeetonze n'ayongerako ne caption ng'agamba nti kabadde ka Kiswahili ng'agamba nti ongea Kiswahili. So bannamateeka aba Uganda Law Society nga bwolaba kamera zino zonna bayise olukungaana wano ku kitebe kyabwe ekya Uganda Law Society eno. Wano wonna bajjudde bannamawulire era nga bw'obalaba kati bagenda kuba nti no badressinga eggwanga era essaawa ezitali mbale Alright, mukutu gwa Extreme Media UK. Once again remind you nti tuli ku Uganda Law Society nga kyekino kibiina ekitwala bannamateeka mu ggwanga lyonna nga kikulemberwa Eza Kakimaze Ssemakadde. Oluvannyuma lw'okuba nti nno Erias Lukwago omunnamateeka akwatiddwa bw'abadde agezaako okutandika okusaavinga CDF w'eggwanga lino Uganda General Moses Kainerugaba, bannamateeka abatwala ekibiina ekitwala bannamateeka ekikulembera Eza Kakimaze Ssemakadde nga n'ono yali kuwaabwanguzi ali mu nsi yadduka mu ggwanga olw'okuba nayo baali bamunoonya. Basazeewo okuba nti nabakuba olukungaana olw'abannamawulire oluli agent lwa mangu babeeko kye boogera ku nsonga eno. Nga bw'omanyi bano ekibiina kino ekya Uganda Law Society kiriwo okuwabula gavumenti mu nsonga ezidiiringa n'amateeka, era bannamawulire batuuse dda wano tulinda bulinzi essaawa yonna okuva kati okuba nti no ba addressinga ensonga zino bulungi. So kyekyo embeera essaawa zino tulina okukola kwekuumira ku mukutu guno boogera eri abantu eri eggwanga nga bo bannamateeka kati bo batandise okuba nti no bayingirirwa nga bo bannamateeka kyokka be balina okwasa amateeka. Kati omunnansi ono wa Uganda agenda kubanga akola atya okuwona embeera eno. Bera ku mukutu Extreme Media, subscribe nga likinga ate era commentinga nga bw'oli mu kulaba.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, and members of the press. Thanks for coming in such a very big number. The Radical New Band, the Uganda Law Society, have invited you for this urgent press conference. To talk about a very pertinent issue regarding their member. So I request that we spend this 1 minute or something setting up as I invite our council led by our most perpendicular Honorable Secretary Acting, Council Saliba Bubu, who represent our Radical Yuba Governing Council to speak to you about why we invited this press conference. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming. We can have just a few seconds to set up, and when we are done, let me be told that we are very ready. Yes, Council Babu, I please invite you to come here. We already have one of Dr. Besige's lead counsel, Honorable Martha Karua, Senior Counsel. She's online. She will be addressing us via Zoom. And we also have other advocates. Yes, now we come to us with them. We shall be having other members of the council that will be also airing out their views. So without wasting much of the time, members, are we set? Yes. Are we ready to go? Wow. Yes, we have also been graced by Mr. Moses Tugume, the legal counsel at PFF, and he's here with us. We also have the opportunity to air out his sentiments, and our Radical Yuba Governing Council will be represented by our Acting Honorable Secretary, Honorable Saliba Bubu is here, and Honorable Martha Karua, Senior Counsel, the lead counsel for Dr. Chiza Besige is online, will be also addressing us as we start our press conference. Yes, his counsel, Katushabe Ronald, is part of the Besige's legal team. But members of the press, thank you so much for not always forsaking us. Thank you so much for always coming to our events, and especially when we have invited you for this impromptu press conference. I thank you so much. Let me now hand over to our council representative, Honorable Secretary, Council Babu, to take you through the next stage. I thank you.
I thank you all, and we apologize for the delay as it is due to several unavoidable circumstances. However, before I go into the message of the President of the Radical Yuba, President Isaac Timazi Semakade, who is currently in exile, I wish to inform the general public that this is not an isolated event. The attacks on advocates has always been there, and as you should be aware and recall that on the 7th of January 2025, a member of the National Bar, that is Aaron Kiza, was harassed at the General Court Martial while he was representing Dr. Kiza Besige. He was beaten severely and summarily sentenced to 6 months imprisonment. We, as the National Bar, wrote to the CDF inviting him for a discussion, and the same discussion was in relation to matters to do with respecting the rights of advocates when they are handling matters that are mandated or obligated to them. However, he did not come for the said meeting, and therefore snubbed the same. We as the National Bar went ahead and filed an application for the habeas corpus at Civil Division, and this was in relation to the military's actions against Aaron Kiza. The same has never been fixed or heard by the judiciary. Similarly, on 7th of February 2026, as the National Bar, we as the National Bar intended to speak and condemn the actions of the CDF at the new lawyer opening, but however, we were not given a chance to do the same. And we have seen the said actions by UPDF and the military ongoing. We recently saw an attack on Katoto Musime. That is while they had gone to access the home of, Katoto Musime, as they had gone to access the home of Honorable Chagulanyi. Nothing was done about the same. Similarly, the CDF also attacked and intimidated Council Alaka. That is when he had gone to offer his services during the search of the home of Anita Among, the former Speaker of Parliament. However, what we need to take note is that today we have taken the exception of a protest note and delivered the same to the CDF's office, and also given a copy to General Moses Wandera. And as the National Bar, we are saying that if at all previously the CDF did whatever he did, the actions of intimidation, the action of deliberately having advocates mistreated while they are in the course of their work, we as the National Bar are not Nook. Nook could have kept quiet, but we shall not keep quiet. We intend to take action against his misactions against advocates, and therefore this is our last call and letter to him, and we intend to take a full blast against him. This similarly takes me to the communication which was in relation to our message that was supposed to be delivered to the CDF in relation to militarization amidst practicing law in Uganda. The legal profession in Uganda now operates in an environment heavily overshadowed by excessive militarization, where the military forces and militarized tactics increasingly intrude into civilian judicial process, democratic exercises, and the independent practice of the law. The government is imposing a state of emergency-like measures nationwide, and these do not only aim on the members of the public, but however, even the members of the legal profession. As the National Bar today, with me I have a communication and a protest note that I intend to read later, which is signed by the President of the Radical New Bar Governing Council of the Uganda Law Society. But at the same time, I also have Senior Counsel Martha Karua, who intends to address us on this same matter, and therefore I wish to take this opportunity and honor to invite her to address us, and then thereafter I shall proceed with reading the protest note and letter from President Isaac Kimaze Semakade, which was formulated by the Radical New Bar Governing Council of the Uganda Law Society, that issues a stern and final warning to the CDF to desist from the actions of continuously mistreating, intimidating, and suffocating advocates while they are in the course of their duties. I hereby invite Senior Counsel Martha Karua to address the members, then thereafter I shall proceed with the communication from the Governing Council of the Uganda Law Society, signed by Advocate Senior Counsel Isaac Kimaze Semakade. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate this opportunity to personally air my protest of today's unconstitutional arrest or abduction of areas, Lukwago, under whose chambers I practice or am licensed to practice in Uganda as lead lawyer in the case of Kisa Bessie. From the tweets of the CDF, General Mosi, it is apparent that Lukwago has been arrested or abducted because he intended to serve court process upon the CDF. It is a matter of public information that our clients, Dr. Kisa Bessie and Obed Mutare, have filed a case in the Human Rights Division, which was allocated to Justice Baguma, and which Justice Baguma picked for hearing on the 30th of this month. And during that sitting, our colleague, Elias Lukwago, requested the court. Are we still together?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
At the sitting of the 11th of this month, Counsel Lukwago asked the court for summons so that he could organize surveys upon the CDF General Court. According to his Twitter, his X space, I have read the tweet. He wonders how Lukwago would have thought that he could serve process in him. This is direct interference in the administration of justice with due process, and it is suggesting that General Mosi is above the law. The Constitution of Uganda, like all other democratic constitutions, clearly states nobody is above the law. General Mosi is not above the law. The standard of the Constitution and the law of Uganda, even its very position, is created by the Constitution of Uganda. I call upon him to obey the Constitution of Uganda, to set at liberty Counsel Lukwago forthwith. I call upon the Chief Justice of Uganda and the entire judiciary to treat this matter with the seriousness it deserves. It's an affront to courts of law, and unless some action is taken by the judiciary, this matter will be telling the people of Uganda and the people of the world that in Uganda there are some people who the Constitution of Uganda does not apply and who are above the Constitution. How can we expect our clients, Dr. President and Obed Mutare, to get justice if the court can so directly and so blatantly be interfered with by General Mosi? This particular human rights case before the court in Uganda, where General Mosi is one of the respondents. Some of the complaints are his public statement where he keeps on saying they will ask Dr. Bessie that Dr. Bessie will never release unless he is dead. And we have seen that 4 bail applications, even when mandatory bail was due, have not been granted. What are reasonable people supposed to think? This is a time for the judiciary of Uganda to stand up for the rule of law, to stand up for equality under the law, and to stand up for the independence of the bar, as provided for by the Constitution and the laws of Uganda, and the UN international bar standards that advocates must practice law without intimidation or harassment. Today's actions are harassment, intimidation against Counsel Lukwago, and by extension against all of us who are appearing in the case. I also appeal to President Museveni, who is the overall, he is the commander-in-chief of General Force, as well as his father. And he is the overall leader in Uganda to restore the rule by having the CTS release areas in Lukwago and desisting from harassing and intimidating advocates. And additionally, I call upon him to release Dr. Bessie and Lukwago. All these violations of the law do not augur well for due process and for a fair trial in an independent court. The judiciary will have to prove or demonstrate to the public its independence with the happenings of today. And I'm very hopeful that His Lordship, the Chief Justice, will take the right stand and the entire judiciary in this matter. We cannot be going back to the days before Uganda enacted its wonderful constitution, which is being desecrated today. That's all I wish to say.
Yes, with that brief communication from Senior Counsel Martha Kalua, I wish to proceed and read the protest note, and this one is generated by the Uganda Law Society Governing Council, the Uganda Law Society, and also equally signed by President Isaac Semakade. And here it reads, on the 5th June 2026, written to General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, Chief of Defense Forces, Uganda People's Defense Forces, Kampala, protest note and strong condemnation of the military arrest and detention of Mr. Elias Lukwago, lead counsel for Dr. Kiza Besigye and Haji Obeid Lutalo. It has come to our attention that Advocate Elias Lukwago, lead counsel for Dr. Kiza Besigye and Haji Obeid Lutale in the ongoing treason trial before the High Court of Uganda, was this morning invaded at his home and arrested and detained by members of the Uganda People's Defense Forces. We note with grave alarm your public statements, including, I have captured a fool and taken him into the basement. And this one will learn Kiswahili. Further still, please serve the papers and I will arrest both you and whoever serves them. These statements, coupled with the military invasion of Advocate Lukwago's home, constitute the highest act of intimidation, harassment, and obstruction of a lawyer in the discharge of his professional duties. Your reference to the papers and whoever serves them constitutes an obstruction of an officer of court in the performance of judicial functions. It is contempt of court and an attack on the independence of the judiciary, contrary to Articles 28:12, 128:2, and 128:3 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda. The reference to the basement evokes Uganda's dark history of illegal detention and torture, absolutely prohibited under Article 44 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda. Even during a state of emergency, the UPDF must be reminded in the strongest terms that under Article 208(2), it is subordinate to civilian authority, non-partisan, and has no role whatsoever in intimidating, threatening or arresting members of the bar for performing their constitutional and professional duties, including service of court process. Detaining defense counsel mid-trial for attempting to serve documents strikes at the heart of the right to a fair hearing under Article 28(3)(d) of the Constitution. A trial without counsel is no trial at all. The military has no mandate to arrest, detain, or threaten lawyers appearing before civilian courts. This action further violates Article 20, Article 42, and Article 221 of the Constitution, as well as the United Nations Basic Principles on the Role of Advocates, which is Principle 16, 18, and 23, as well as the IBA standards on the independence of the legal profession. This is not an isolated incident. The Uganda Law Society has previously protested similar violations, including the intimidation of Advocate Caleb Alaka, who is the lead counsel for former Right Honorable Speaker Anita Amon, and the arrest and harassment of Advocate Kakuru Tumusime at Magere home of Honorable Robert Chagulanyi Sentamu, among other threats against advocates in the Besigye matter. Any continued pattern of such behavior shall be viewed as a direct assault on the rule of law and constitutional order, and shall attract command responsibility consequences for you personally under the Ugandan law and international law. The Uganda Law Society therefore demands within 24 hours the immediate and unconditional release of our member Advocate Elias Lukwago, full disclosure of his whereabouts and condition during detention, with immediate access granted to Uganda Law Society representatives and his family, a public undertaking by the Uganda People's Defense Forces that lawyers will not be targeted, threatened, or arrested for representing clients or serving court process, immediate intervention by the Chief Justice and the Attorney General to guarantee the security of all advocates, judges, and litigants under Article 128(1) of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, and to ensure that the trial proceeds without further military interference. An attack on one advocate is an attack on the entire bar and on the rule of law itself. The Uganda Law Society reserves all legal and professional remedies, including regional and international recourse, should these demands not be met. Yours faithfully, signed by Isaac Chimaze Semakade, the President of the Uganda Law Society. This therefore means that as the National Bar, we intend to have representatives sent to assess, one, the whereabouts of our fellow advocate Elias Lukwago. Similarly, if the demands are not met within 24 hours, we have set up a team which is going to be led by the Rule of Law Committee that is going to seek for redress and recourse both domestically and internationally, and this will be against the CDF personally in his capacity. Thank you all. Amanya gange nze Salibabu nga nze omuwandiisi wa Uganda Law Society, nga olunaku lwa leero ekituleese wano kubanga tuli bennyamivu nnyo ku ngeri munnaffe Elias Lukwago akulira bannamateeka ba Dr. Kiza Besigye ne Haji Obedi Lutalo, engeri aba UPDF gye bamukuttemu mavumbavumba nga tannavawuwe ku makya, era nga gye bamusibidde tewamanyikiddwa. Mu ngeri eyo ne tulabako nga omuduumizi w'amagye alina ebiwandiiko by'atadde ku mukutu gwa X nga gulinga okujaganya eri okukwatibwa kwa Kanso Lukwago Elias, ng'ebimu ku ebyo by'ataddeyo agambye nkutte omusiru era mututte mu basement. N'ayongerezaako nti ku luno ajja kuyiga Oluswayiri era n'ayongerako ng'agamba nti nno kale muleete mumpe empapula ezo, naye anaazireeta n'oyo amutumye mwembi nja bakwata mbasibe. Ffe nga Uganda Law Society ne tuvaayo ne tuvumirira eno enkola ng'era tugamba nti si gwe mulundi ogusoose amagye okuba nga tegakomye ku kukwata, wabula ne gaba nga galiko embeera ey'obuvune gye butuusa ku bamemba baffe aba Uganda Law Society. Ekisookera ddala ne tubazaayoko emabega ku court martial ne bakwata Advocate Aaron Kiza era ng'awolereza Dr. Besigye. Tebaakoma kumukuba wabula ne bamusiba nga baali bamusalidde myezi 6. Ffe nga Uganda Law Society ne tuvaayo ne tuwandiikira omuduumizi w'amagye General Muhoozi Kainerugaba nga tumusaba meeting okugezaako okwogera ku nsonga zino ez'okuba nga abannamagye basusse okuba nga bakwata oba nga banyigiriza abannamateeka. Eyo meeting teyaliiyo. Era mu mwaka guno February nga 6 ne tuba nga twali tugenda kwogera ku new lawyer eggulwawo essiga eddamuzi ery'eggwanga lino, naye tebaatuwa busobozi obwo. Naye nga kyetwali tugenda okuwandiika oba okusomako olwo lunaku kwe kubanga twali tugenda kuddamu tuvumirire omukono ogw'amaanyi oguli mu kukozesebwa amagye mu kubanga bagezaako okutiisatiisa n'okuba nga banyigiriza balooya oba bammemba baffe aba Uganda Law Society. Mu ngeri emu ffe ng'aba Law Society mu bbaluwa gye tumuwandiikidde General Muhoozi Kainerugaba era ne tuwaako n'oyo akulira ebyamateeka General Wandera mu UPDF nga tugamba nti nno ekikolwa ekyo tukivumirira nnyo nga Uganda Law Society era ne tusaba nti mu ssaawa 24 abeeko ebintu bino wammanga by'abaakola nga bw'aba tabikoze nga Uganda Law Society tulina komiti yaffe ya rule of law gye tugenda okuba nga tusindika eno ensonga, era bwe tuba nga alemereddwa okumuta oba okukola ebyo wammanga bye ngenda okusoma tujja kuba tumukolako ffe nga abaradiko nyumba eya Uganda Law Society nga mwe muli okuwaaba wano e Uganda, tuwaabe ne mu East African Court of Justice era tuwaabe ne mu platforms oba kooti endala ezisukkako East Africa. Era ng'ekisookedde ddala tusabye nti ate Erias Lukwago mu ssaawa 24 nga tekuli kakwate konna mu kuteebwa kwe. Ekyokubiri asobole otugamba gy'asibidde Erias Lukwago era n'ebimukoleddwako mu kusibibwa okwo gy'ali, era bakkirize ne bammemba ba Uganda Law Society n'abafamire ye okuba nga bagenda bamulabeko oba bamutuukirire. Ekyokusatu UPDF eveeyo eggonjole ensonga ey'okuba nga batiisatiisa era nga bakwata balooya, era eveeyo ekirambike nti ekyo tekijja kuddibwamu, balooya bajja baleka bakola emirimu gyabwe. Ekyokuna nga tusaba essiga eddamuzi alikulira Chief Justice era ne tusaba ne Attorney General baveeyo boogere kweno ensonga era batuwe garanti oba wabeeko ekyenkomeredde kye bakola ku nsonga ey'okuba nga abalamuzi balooya n'abo ababeera mu makooti basobole okuba nga bwe baba nga balina omusango mu kooti tewabaawo mbeera yonna ey'okugamba nti abanamagye bayingire mu eyo ensonga oba okukwata omulamuzi ali mu musango ogwo, okukwata looya agulimu oba ne bakwata oyo gwe baba bavunaana kooti bwebanga esazeewo mu ngeri ey'enjawulo. Era kino ekiwandiiko kisayinigiddwa atwala Uganda Law Society oba omukulembeze waffe President Isaac Kimaze Ssemakande, mwenna gwe mumanyi gyali mu buwawanguse era ng'ensonga ezimu ezamutwazeeyo kwe kubanga yalaba nga tasobola kuleka ddembe kulinyirirwa mu mbeera ng'eno eri e Uganda nti nno e Uganda omuntu tayinza kubaawo n'omanya nti nno etteeka ligenda kukwatibwa bwe riti ekintu kyonna kyandibaawo lwakuba constitution yaffe bagivudde nnyo bagifudde kyakuzannyisa era guno gwe mulango gusembyeyo okuva mu Uganda Law Society nga tuwandiikira akulira amagye ga Uganda oba omuduumizi waago Jeno Muhoozi Kainerugaba nti waba tabituukiriza tugenda kukwasa ensonga zino omukono ogw'ekyuma. Tulabye nga waliwo ebyatuuka ku nuupu nga bagenze ne bayingirira amaka g'abakulira Honorable Kyagulanyi Robert yo nga nuupu teyabaako kyekola naye kino kijja kuba kyakuyiga oba tujja kuba nga tumulagako nti ekitebe oba ekibiina ekitwala balooya si kyakuzanyibwako nti bakivoola ffe omu ku ffe bwe baba nga bamukutte oba ng'anyigirizibwa oba ng'anyigiriza ffe ffenna. Ekitongole ky'abalooya mu Uganda kiina balooya abasukka mu 1,500 era nga eddoboozi lyaffe bwe liba nga liri wamu tumanyi nga lijja tuuka wala era wajja kubaawo ebintu bingi nnyo bye tukyusanga national bar ya Uganda. Mwebale nnyo.
Thank you so much for watching Extreme Media UG. That's what has been. That's what Yules has said.
Yes. Then you are just going to do it like that. I'm just imagining.